The Aviator is a classic style that is still very cool in 2023. So in today's video, I've brought together some of the world's best Aviator frames to showcase them for you and to rate my top 3 Aviator optical glasses and my top 3 Aviator sunglasses to help you find your next perfect pair. So hi, I'm Robert, Style and Vision Consultant here at the Spectacle Factory, and it's my job to pair you with your perfect pair of glasses. And an Aviator frame is something I believe everyone should have in their eyewear wardrobe. It's such a classic style that is still ultra cool, and not least some of the frames that we're going to be reviewing today, because these are incredible. And I think we're going to start with the top 3 Aviator optical frames. Choosing between these 3, even getting it down to a short list of 3 was difficult. And it just depends on which criteria you choose. There's not objectively one that is best out of all these 3. But coming in at number 3, I'm going with the Roche Manu. This is a seriously cool frame, and part of that is the deliberately oversized shape. You see, this actually fits me really comfortably. It might look big on camera. That's kind of the way the Aviator frame should be. You should never be choosing an Aviator frame smaller than your face. You want it actually to be wider than your face. But the proportions of the Manu are just right. At first glance, it appears rectangular, but actually at closer inspection, we have these angled corners, both on the top and the bottom, which just give it a little bit more of a distinctive feel. The second thing that's immediately noticeable is the contrasting top rim with the satin gold finishing along the bottom rim. That gives these frames a two-tone coloration that is, in my opinion, to die for. And that contrasting finishing, where you have elements of brushed satin gold against elements of matte black, are absolutely beautiful and very technically difficult to achieve. For those who don't know, and I'm sure many of you have not heard of Roche as a brand, they're actually an historic Austrian eyewear company who in the 70s and 80s were loved by some of the world's most famous people. Now, that doesn't automatically make them good, but it does mean that they have a cool history. Now the brand has been brought back in recent years, and the level of quality that I'm seeing coming from Roche is virtually the best in the world. No one brand is doing acetate frames and titanium frames to the level of quality that Roche are doing. And that leads me nicely on to the third point about these frames. They are titanium. That makes them incredibly comfortable to wear. I love the pure titanium end tips, something that I always look for in high-end glasses. They should just be pure metal, ideally. And it just makes them feel as sophisticated as they look. So it's because of that pure luxury finishing and aesthetic that the Manu makes the list. And you definitely couldn't say that the next pair at number 2 match up to the Roche in terms of pure quality. They don't, but in terms of character, they blow them away. This is the J F Rey 3032, and stylistically is probably the best Aviator frame I've ever seen. The color might not be to your taste. This does come in other colors as well, but the construction, the uniqueness of it, the futurism involved in this frame is out of this world. It's absolutely superb. This is one of the frames that I've been most excited to showcase on the channel, probably all year, because it's just so original. And you know what? It's hard to make an Aviator frame original. It's been done so many times, for so many years, for decades. J F Rey, as ever, have managed it with ease. This color they call brick, but it also features kind of a turquoise patterned acetate down the temples. Really unique. And that's just what you can expect from J F Rey. That is what they do. They're probably the most unique glasses in the world. It doesn't even end there, because this component, this extra inner lens rim, which adorns the top half of the style, is 3D printed material. That gives it up close a very interesting texture that contrasts really well against the metal. So we have kind of 3 things going on here. We've got the brick-colored metalwork, the 3D printed interior, and then the acetate temples. This is one of the most, it's probably the most futuristic Aviator frame I've come across, and it easily makes number 2 on the list. To be honest, it's the one that I'm most excited by, and these are going to be my next pair of glasses as well. But at number 1 in the end is the Reykjavik Sunnah. This is not necessarily new, but it is still the best functional Aviator frame money can buy. What I mean by that is this is the only Aviator frame that you never have to worry about chipping the paintwork. You never have to worry about breaking. You never have to worry about tightening up a screw. You never have to worry about being uncomfortable. All of those things come with a pair of Reykjavik glasses. They are super minimalistic, being the world's first frames made from one piece of titanium. And that means, like I said, no screws, no springs, no solders, no welds, no weak points within the glasses. Now, you could definitely argue, it's obvious that the J F Rey is more adventurous. The Robert Roche is more luxurious. But this is the most practical, and for most people, that's what they want from their glasses. Of course, they want them to be cool as well, and I would definitely argue that the Sunnah is a very cool style. It's the most quintessential aviator frame on the table. So that makes it classic as well, but with the modern twist of that Scandinavian ultra minimalistic construction. So you're getting a cool pair of glasses that are also virtually indestructible, so light that you can't feel them on your face. You never have to worry about maintaining them or damaging them. What more could you want from a pair of glasses? And that's why the Sunnah makes my number one spot for aviator frames in 2023. Moving on, let's talk about sunglasses. And of course, aviator frames historically started off as sunglasses for military pilots. The idea was a lens that would protect the maximum amount of your vision and give the most coverage from the sun. But aviators have come a long way since the 1930s, 40s, when they were first invented. And nowadays there are so many ways to do an aviator sunglass. My third best aviator sunglass in 2023 is the Tolkien from Walton and Herbert, named after, of course, J.R.R. Tolkien, the legendary British author of Lord of the Rings. I'm sure you already know that. The Tolkien is inspired by him, and Walton and Herbert are still made in England, extremely good quality, but also pretty affordable as well. Everything about these frames is beautiful, especially the coloration of the acetate. I like to think that this kind of burnt reddish orange kind of reminds me of Mordor, so you can definitely see the Lord of the Rings inspiration there. The grey striped coloration is really unique as well. And the only thing that potentially lets these frames down is the lenses, because they are quite a basic grey gradient lens. But that's simple. You can switch out these lenses for really high quality Zeiss adaptive sun lens, and all of a sudden you've got the world's best sunglass lenses in a really cool classic style. This is more of a square aviator, of course, but square aviators I feel are coming more and more in terms of the trends. I think it's very fashionable in 2023 while still having that classic British gentlemanly twist. At number 2, this was a really tough one, but I've opted for the McLaren MLSED 01. And this is more of a vintage style teardrop aviator. Super sporty, of course, as McLaren are. What we see here is a milled titanium front with milled lugs featuring the trademark McLaren rotating temples, an amazing piece of design. Formula One rubber tyre temples, which really grip, but also provide amazing flexibility. Anatomical nose pads, which mold to the shape of your nose when you wear them. And Leica lenses, some of the world's best sunglass lenses. This is the complete package. It's got everything. Awesome design, originality, performance. Everything that you could want from a great pair of sunglasses. For me, it's a little bit too sporty, so I wouldn't wear it myself. But for a lot of people who want that aviator frame, it's super cool. And I love the way it folds so flat with those bladed temples. The way these grip to the side of the head is super comfortable. Like, you can definitely feel they're gripping, but there's no pressure and no contact behind the ears, which makes them incredibly comfortable to wear. The Leica lenses with the blue mirror finish, superb. The clarity, excellent. I'm going to be reviewing Leica on this channel, so if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe. That'll be coming in around about a month. I've got a special trip planned for my Leica prescription lenses, so stay tuned for that. But what more can you say? McLaren are producing some of the world's best eyewear at the moment and creating a whole new segment that's so different than anything else that any of the other brands are doing. It's incredible, and you've got to give them credit at the moment. And number 1 on the list, in my opinion, the coolest, best aviator sunglass that you can buy in 2023. That is the Porsche Design 8937. Now, there are 2 variants of this. There is a teardrop variant as well, and I think it's on the wall behind me. It could have easily gone between either of them, but I just love the squared off styling of this one, and I love how the gold and the black contrast so well. It looks so elegant, so luxurious, classy, refined. They're just so impressive in so many ways, and they're even more comfortable than the McLaren frames. Not by much, really, it's very close. But thanks to the proprietary rubberized nose pads, the super lightweight temples, titanium construction again, but equally like the McLarens, they feel very solid. Now these ones can be adjusted behind the ears, but can also be kept with a straight fit as well, depending on your preference. So there's a bit more versatility there. But it's all about the styling with this one. I just think the styling is what edges it over the McLaren. I think this looks cooler. It looks more interesting. There's more going on. There's more design in it, even though technically the engineering of the McLaren is probably better with that rotating hinge. This has a very simple folding hinge, albeit with the proprietary Porsche Design screws, which you see in all Porsche Design glasses. What we see attaching the double brow bar to this frame are the locking nuts that you'll actually see on the GT Sport steering wheel. If you drive some of the best Porsches, they will have the GT steering wheel, and it has this similar pattern of screws on it. So that's a really cool homage to the cars. And Porsche Design are not just licensed glasses from Porsche. They're created by the Porsche Design Studio, which redesigns everyday objects to be the best they can be. And this is pretty much the best that an Aviator can be. We have vision drive lenses, which are polarized and contrast enhancing. Again, probably not quite as good as the Zeiss lens, maybe not even as good as the Leica lens, but these are produced by Rodenstock, super high quality. You cannot fault the contrast, the clarity that you get through these lenses. They have anti-reflection on the back, as do the McLaren. Like I said, it's very close between these two, but they just edge it out in terms of the styling for me, personally. What do you think of my picks? Make sure to leave your comments below. But before we finish the video, I have one last surprise for you, because you might have seen nestling in the corner, hiding out of the way, the world's most unique and frankly strange Aviator sunglasses, and I couldn't help showing them for you today. This is the collaboration between Hideo Kojima and Jean-Francois Rey for the video game Death Stranding. The particular model is called the Cliff Skull, and it is frankly bizarre. It's kind of cool in its own way, but would you wear this sunglass? I'm not sure it's for everybody. What's featured on this design are skulls at each lug, as well as bones along the top rim. A really odd and fantastical take on the Aviator, but it's not something you see every day. And of course, on this channel, I love to showcase things for you that you just don't see in your everyday opticians. If you're interested in these, we do actually have a couple of pairs in stock. That goes for everything in today's video, and we offer styling consultations for people all over the world. So don't think that if you're not in the UK, you can't order these from us. You definitely can. Check the description for more information. But what a fascinating way to end the video, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, give us a like, subscribe to the channel for more of the best eyewear content on the internet, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks guys, bye bye.